Welcome back. The Spread Option Podcast is here. Episode number 4. Be Frank and Nick with you. And I don't know about you, but I had a pretty darn good week last week.
Yeah, last week was fun. An exhilarating hit on my lock of the week for the second consecutive show. My lock of the week was the over in the Wyoming football game. So before, I'm trying to think who they played the week before, but this weekend was
Washington State.
Mike Leach. Wyoming thrashed New Mexico State in the home opener, in the season opener. Mm-hmm. Then went up against Mike Leach. Washington State just eviscerated them, but Wyoming, the Cowboys hung in there, put up a few more points, and then they played Mizzou this weekend, and Mizzou's got a great quarterback in Drew Lock. One of the better college quarterbacks out there, and they don't really play a lot of defense.
Correct.
Over was 52. I said it was my lock of the week, folks. 53 was the total. So
all you needed was anything over 52, and you got it.
I got it. They don't ask how, just how many. We got enough. So
exactly.
That was my lock of the week.
Podcast record, by the way, 2 straight.
Yeah, 2 straight, 2 now. Put all the marbles, put all our chips in again on 3-0. We're going to keep this parlay going. But rough result. I had some NFL teasers get absolutely ruined by New Orleans. I had Pittsburgh that I teased into a road underdog. I had Green Bay. I'm trying to think who else I had. I had some serious stuff going. And I had the Bengals like plus 12, and they won by 10. I knew their front seven was going to shit on Andrew Luck in that bad offensive line his first game back. Had all these teasers and stuff going. And I had New England as a home dog by 6 to the Texans. I mean, it was the stars were aligning, and I was like, New Orleans, a 10-point sweetheart teaser. All they got to do is win at home against Ryan Fitzpatrick. Couldn't fucking get it.
Can't do it.
They just it fucked me. It fucked me.
That one hurt. I went 3-2 in my NFL picks last week. Still up about 3/4 of a unit, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the bigger numbers. The Saints killed. The Saints absolutely killed it, and then I was just way off on the Panthers Cowboys over. That game was a snooze fest. Holy shit.
That was bad.
But other than that, though, I had some nice hits last week. 11-4 in college football. I'm up to 27-13 on the year, 10 units up. Let's fucking rip here. But it seems like everything I needed to come through came through. UNLV blew out UTEP. Stanford beat USC handily.
I don't do the UNLV game. I don't know. You knew it. You were all in. You're just the Miners are going to get more like
they were going to get thrashed. That's it.
Chilean Miners because they got crushed.
Oh my god. So
sorry.
Everything's been going well. I even hit my lock of the week. It was a late game in that one, Buffalo and Temple, and there were not many points on the board. I turned it off, turned something else on, and all of a sudden it's 29-29. We've hit the over, and I'm very excited. You'll see Buffalo again this week in my picks, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But let's start with.
What about Navy over, though? I think we had a devastating result. First Navy over in about 3 years. It didn't hit.
Yeah, it poured. I did not look at the forecast because I just wasn't smart enough to do that, and it fucking poured. They still put up 43 points, but if that's a dry game, Memphis fumbled like 3 or 4 times, I think. If that's a dry game, this is
Wasn't that in easily. The 70s? Wasn't it like 77?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
It's Vegas didn't even account for the rain, or they did and just thought that we'd be stupid and not look at the weather, which is exactly what happened.
One more point, we'll go into this week, but just one more thing from last week. We got, kind of crushed by the Saints. I mean, everything else pretty much went exactly how we expected it to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that was like our bad beat of the week. So I think we brought up that matchup last week, and we're like, we don't even need to talk about this. Like, Fitzpatrick in the Superdome, Kamara and Breeze are going to tear him up next game.
No running back either.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers have no running game.
It was preposterous. They just kept hitting deep balls over the top on like Lattimore and all these supposedly good corners. They had a good defense last year.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know what the fuck happened, but the reason I brought it up was I believe I read that it might have been Vegas's best result ever, like on a single NFL game, based on the sheer percentage of bettors that had New Orleans. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, it was definitely in the high 90s. I mean, we're
That
talking.
does not surprise me.
It was probably like in the 95 to 99% range if people had New Orleans -10 or money line or whatever, and just we're probably laying some serious bones down to get a little back, just thinking it was it was free money and just
Free money play. Yeah, that's exactly. I think I called it free money last week.
or throw it in every parlay to get something to even money or
Right.
teased it. Like I teased it, but because I'm like I like a -10, but I'm like, oh my god, if all I gotta do is win,
Easy.
hell. But
Nope.
then they made the comeback at the end too, which was such a fucking tease.
Yep.
All right, enough.
That's gambling though. That's why we do it, because you're sometimes really right, like UNLV, and you're sometimes really wrong, like the Saints. We'll go. We got 3 ranked matchups this week in college football. Boise State, number 17, heading to Stillwater to take on 24th ranked Oklahoma State. It opened at 3.5-point favorite for the Pokes, down to 2 points.
Yep.
This is a tough game because we haven't really been able to see much of either team yet this year. They just haven't been highlighted on the big networks. Oklahoma State has beaten Missouri State and South Alabama in their first 2 games.
Anything off that. You can't gauge anything off that.
Well, the only thing I'm going to take out of it is their quarterback Cornelius has 3 interceptions in those 2 games total. That replacing Mason Rudolph is never easy. Just plain and simple. Not easy to do. They also lose All-American wide receiver James Washington. There's a lot missing from that offense, but Justice Hill is back. He's one of the best running backs in the Big 12. Even that includes a healthy Rodney Anderson. I think he's as good. But
wow,
I really like what Boise State's been able to do. They had over 900 yards of offense, I believe, against UConn. And
of course,
Ripens look great. The defenses look good. They blew out Troy, who's expected to be one of the better group of 5 teams. I find it hard that Boise State gets blown out of this one or even loses. So I'm going – I would take the Broncos with the points, and I take a money line as well.
Plus 105, plus 2 right now as of –
So then I'm just taking the points. It's not – there's no value in me taking the money line as well. Well, give me the points.
Okay, yeah. I honestly don't have a pick in this game. I don't think –
What do you lean?
Boise State's got the most impressive of the wins because out of either teams 4 games so far because 4 games total because obviously they played a couple FCS teams. Oklahoma State did. And, yeah, I mean, this one's not easy. Just it's so early in the year and we haven't had that exposure yet. I think this is going to hit the over. These Oklahoma State home games, I don't know what it is. Stillwater games always go over. Oklahoma State's going to put up big points, and it sounds like Boise State, based off their game against Troy, their offense was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And if this quarterback's going to be Cornelius, if he'll be susceptible to turnovers, I mean, they might spot Boise in a good field position with a good offense. So right now it's at 64.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can envision a
30-something point game.
35-31.
Yeah.
That'd be a hit.
That works out. That's good math right there. Yeah, like you said, it's a really tough one to pick, but I actually think this next game is probably the toughest to pick.
Really? Okay.
Number 12 LSU heads to number 7 Auburn. Both teams 2-0, both teams in the top 15. It's a 10-point spread.
Yeah.
Auburn at home. Over-under is at 45. I think you got to go Auburn here. I like LSU. I like Nick Brossette. I don't believe in Joe Burrow yet. And I mean, both defenses are very good, but Jarrett Stidham is the best quarterback in the SEC.
Yeah, you know what? Just take Auburn. Don't even – so this week, folks, it's just a warning. You might get annoyed with it, but there's not a ton of stuff that I'm excited about outright. B. Frank's got a whole slate of stuff that he's all in on as usual.
As always.
Kid just throws a lot of shit at the wall and just sees what sticks. But I really like Auburn to win this game. The fact that LSU can run the ball and play defense worries me about Auburn separating themselves. I don't think Auburn's going to ever really be in danger in this game, but I'm not sure if they can win this game by 3 scores, which is a 10.5 point, or I guess it could be a 2-touchdown game. But
right.
I love Stidham. I mean, obviously you have the impressive win against Washington already.
Yep.
This is a home game. Burrow's first big game on the road. I think if you tease this with something and you get this down to about Auburn -3 or so, you're cooking. Because I don't think what's the money line on this game? I don't think that has much value.
It's hefty. It is Auburn -410, LSU +305.
Yeah, the odds of a disaster outweigh the value. Betting the money line. But yeah, 10.5 is a rough one. I was very much in on. I said the same thing about Georgia last week, like just tease them, and then they wound up just like murdering them.
Yep.
Carolina, but I think Auburn 10.5. The thing is, I don't want to bet Auburn 10.5, but I also don't trust LSU to cover, which is why I like to tease it. Because
exactly,
and it's like the obvious, like no shit, Nick, but
it feels like a 1-score game late, and Joe Burrow makes a bad pass that gets picked off for 6 points, and then all of a sudden you lose on like a pick 6 late, and that's what happens.
I mean, LSU did just shit pump the Hurricanes, though.
I don't think Miami's good. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I don't think Miami's good.
Oh, yeah. So, all right.
You're leaning Auburn, correct?
To win. If you put a gun to my head, I'm taking the Auburn spread, yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
The final of the ranked games, Ohio State and TCU head into Jerry World. This is the last game without Urban Meyer at the helm. TCU has looked, I would say, rather unimpressive in their 2 games. Ohio State looked good offensively in game 1, and then they looked great against Rutger in game 2. But then again, it's Rutger who can't look good against them. 13-point favorites for the Buckeyes. I think this all comes down to how much do you believe in Dwayne Haskins. And I went on the B. Fox and B. Frank show and said that he should have been starting over JT Barrett. That's how good he's looked in these first 2 games. I believe that, and I think he's going to show that this game. I'm taking Ohio State -13.
Yeah, what's concerning about TCU is I believe they played SMU, right? And it took them quite a bit in that game to separate themselves from a very, very bad SMU team. They are not good at all.
They were down 9-0 in the game.
Yeah, and SMU this week is a 35.5-point road dog at the Big House in Michigan.
Yeah.
And this is a team that TCU had a very hard time, kind of pinning down. So, and Ohio State's offenses looked ridiculous. They put up all those points against Oregon State and just killed Rutgers. So, I mean, the only thing is it's a neutral site. It's on the road. TCU's defense knows when to turn it up. But I think right now, see, this is another one of those games. You give me Ohio State by a touchdown or less, and I'm in love with it.
Right.
This is kind of what I'm getting at this week. I think, I trust their offense to put up big points. Do they win this by 2 touchdowns? I think they certainly win, but the money line is going to be hefty again. As I'm looking right now on my phone, it's -520.
Yeah.
I'm not betting Ohio State -520 in the state of Texas. Ohio State is susceptible to having a bad road game. We saw it at Iowa. This isn't technically a road game, but away from,
away from home. I get what you mean, where they're traveling.
So I think the play here is if you're going to get – this is the recurring theme of this week is get your Auburn spread and your Ohio State spread and your Notre Dame spread and all these games in the 10 to 13 range and
tease them down.
Tease them down, man, and that's my theme this week. But
I like it.
I think Ohio State's earned the trust to cover 13 more than TCU has in a big game like this. So give me Ohio State 13. I will not actually bet them minus 13, but I will certainly have them in some teasers and such.
The lean. Got it. I have 9 more games in college football that I like, including my lock of the week.
We haven't even gotten to the NFL yet, but
I know.
It's fun.
I'm going to run through mine. Give me a couple teasers, and then we'll head over to the NFL.
Well, actually, we got a hybrid this week, so that'll be the
even better
position.
Perfect segue. So I'm going to take Notre Dame minus 13.5 against Vandy. I was dead on about Ball State last week. 35-point dogs, like the easiest money I've ever made. Should have triple unit bet that, but Ball State almost won the game. Actually, they were in it late. They had a couple chances and just never made the plays. There's no way Notre Dame lays an egg like that 2 weeks in a row. Vanderbilt's an SEC opponent. They're going to come in a little bit better, I think, better prepared. The offense is going to look more crisp, and Brandon Wimbush is going to play better. They win this one by at least 2 scores, probably in the 20-point range.
Yep.
North Texas, Arkansas over 69. North Texas has one of the best quarterbacks that no one's heard of, Mason Fine, and Arkansas just gave up 35 points to Colorado State. That was one of my losses last week. So the Hogs stink. North Texas puts up points. Give me the over in that one.
Okay.
Speaking of the Rams, I've got Florida minus 20 at home against Colorado State. I'm going to get right back on the horse that kicked me off. I don't think Colorado State's defense is good. Florida needs a win here, and they got to get the offense going. The next one, I'm going against Herm, the newly ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. I'm taking San Diego State at home plus 5.5 against Arizona State. This feels like a letdown game. Herm Edwards, no one expected him to be here. Absolutely no one expected him to be here.
It was crazy that they won that game.
I know. And you're coming off a huge win. Yeah, we were coming off a huge win against Michigan State, which we saw, and 5.5 points is a great number for San Diego State, a team that likes to slow the game down and run the ball. Guess who's back? It's the Hawaii overs. Hawaii at Army over 62 and Hawaii plus 6 on the road at West Point. That one hurt, but Cole McDonald has been really good this year. He's been really good, putting up numbers, leading this offense, and the defense has done enough to win them games throughout. So why stop now?
You're all in on the Rainbow Warriors, huh?
I am. I've got my final 2 here. Rocky Top minus 31.5 against UTEP.
Oh,
UTEP stinks. They stink. They are the worst team in America. I am going to pick against them until they cover a spread. So hopefully this isn't the week, because I just got my Rocky Top shirt and I'm ready to sing that song all night long. And my final pick, I think this is going to be my lock. Georgia State, Memphis, the over is 58. There's no way 2 weeks in a row Memphis doesn't hit the over. There's just no way.
I'm seeing something now that I want to put a mortgage on. There actually isn't a line for it yet, so we're starting off hot here.
Here we go.
Eastern Washington State game. Whenever they release this, these lines for this game, I'm going to be very, very interested in this. Eastern Washington is known to have had a prolific offense.
Yep.
In years past with, Vernon Adams and Cooper Kupp from the Rams now. And I believe they're still pretty prolific, and Washington State has shown the ability to put up serious points this year again under Mike Leach, even with his wild-ass stoner formations. I don't know what. Yeah,
he doesn't really know what. A game I forgot was Washington minus 5.5 against Utah. I think Washington's the best team in the Pac-12 by and far, and they're going to blow out the Utes. So that's my card for the week.
It's a long card.
It is.
That's exactly how you win money gambling. Is
winners.
You just
give out winners.
You do 15 games and see if you can beat Vegas 12 to 15 times instead of, just picking one game and just hammering all the money you spread across all those.
There's only a few games that I really like that I'd hammer, and even those I'm not, wildly confident in. Yeah. But Yeah, I mean that's that's the card. Did I hit Buffalo? Did I say Buffalo minus 3.5 and the over? Because
Yes,
that's another one.
earlier.
Okay, good. But yeah, that's it. What kind of teasers are you looking at here?
Well, hang on. First of all, Virginia minus 3.5 at home against Ohio is criminal.
Yeah, that's a tough line.
That's criminal. Yeah, that's going to hit. Virginia's going to win that game at home. I don't have a doubt in my mind. I really like the over in the Houston Texas Tech game. Cliff Kingsbury. Those defenses are so awful.
Yeah.
Houston put up a ton of points against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sumlin, what are you doing? I mean, they were
He's
down
in trouble.
38-0 or 31-0 in that game. It was
like 38-3, I think.
Oh,
it was a bloodbath.
Brutal. Sadly, folks, this week Wyoming is playing Wofford. Not sure if we're going to get an overline on that. So we'll have to resume the Cowboys next week, depending on who they're playing. That Florida-Colorado State game, is that because of Jim McElwain? Is that why that game was scheduled?
I would assume so.
And then now he's gone?
Yeah, and he's gone now.
I'm guessing that's why that was on the schedule. But yeah, the games I'm throwing in my teasers, I already have one placed at minus 105. I'm actually pulling up the bet right now for the folks. This is some bad radio as I'm pulling. I was unprepared to have this.
We just need the accurate info. So,
that's right.
We'll take our time to make sure that's there for the people at home.
Time, I put in Nebraska minus 12, Notre Dame minus 13.5, Patriots minus 1, Rams minus 13, Saints minus 9. The Nebraska line has already gone down to 10.5. The public money is on the Trojans of Troy, and the line has shifted down. Nebraska's at home. Notre Dame, yep, spreads the same. Same with the Patriots, Rams, and Saints. But at minus 105, I already put $20 on this. So, yeah, big roller, high roller here. Nebraska +1 at home at Memorial Stadium against Troy, who got blown out by Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame minus a half point against Vandy at home. The Patriots
I like that.
+12 on the road at Jacksonville against a limp Leonard Fournette and a quarterback in Blake Bortles who probably won't be able to get in a shootout with Tom Brady. And Jacksonville's probably going to run the ball a ton, so it might not be easy for either team to get much separation. So love the Patriots +12 against Jacksonville. Love that.
Yep.
And the Rams at home against the Arizona Cardinals all they have to do is win. It's at 0. It was a 13-point teaser. Got it down. The Cardinals got blown out by the Redskins at home, and the Rams looked great at Oakland. McVay's going to have them firing at the Coliseum, so love that. And then the Saints, I hate them with all my heart, but I have a hard time imagining they're going to lose back-to-back home games at the Mercedes Superdome to the likes of the Cleveland Browns and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That would be I think you got to fire Sean Payton or at least trade Drew Brees at that point. Yeah, the Saints -9. That becomes a 4-point home dog at home against the fucking Browns. If you lose by more than 3 points
to Cleveland
to the fucking
at home,
Browns at home, after you should be motivated after losing to Tampa and your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, then there's got to be some serious changes to my gambling strategy as well as the long-term outlook on Brees and Peyton's job security there, 100%. So other games, so we're going just college football. I mean, Auburn, I would tease Ohio State down. I already said Nebraska, Notre Dame. I'd maybe leave out Nebraska because Troy could potentially play well. So I'm not going to throw Nebraska in there, but I'm very, very confident Notre Dame beats Vandy at home.
So am I.
So
I'll be there in person. So if they don't, I would be very upset.
That's awesome. Glad you're going to be there. Is it under the lights? What time's that game? Or is it 2:30?
It's a 2:30 game.
2:30. Yeah. So just trying to think what else I want to tease. I think I might. You know what? Actually, a fun one. and I hate doing these, and this goes against everything I stand for. I would take BYU up to 35.5.
Wow.
On the road at Wisconsin.
Wow.
Wisconsin is just, they're really good. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, the thing with Wisconsin is they just haven't, they've separated themselves kind of late against a couple good teams, or against, I wouldn't even say good teams, just a couple teams. BYU is actually a solid program. The way Wisconsin looked and their defense looked in the first half against a New Mexico team on their third string quarterback. And I mean, we're talking like this game was like 10-7, like almost midway into the third quarter. I think Wisconsin wins, but I mean, are they going to win this game by 5 touchdowns?
Probably not.
Probably not. So maybe not one I'm totally confident in, but I think it'd be an interesting one. But one I'm very, very confident. First of all, I'll tease Rocky top down against Utah.
Love it.
Get them in the 20-ish range. There's also a degenerate game we need to talk about. If you're a real degenerate gambler, it is the most degenerate college football game to gamble on of all time. But before we get there, one more pick. Minnesota. I mean, you all can tell I love these sweetheart teasers. Get Minnesota down to 0 and just have them beat Miami of Ohio at home. So,
yeah. I mean, like you said, these lines aren't ideal, but there are ways to work around it. And if you put together the right teams, you can get some real value out of these.
Also, Duke is a 6-point dog at Baylor, and you could get them to like plus 19, which I also really like because Duke looked pretty good against Northwestern. Yeah, their defense is good. Oh, also, I have to do before the most degenerate game of all time. If you're doing teasers, take South Florida +2 against Illinois. Like
oh, that hurts.
I hate to do it, but yeah, Illinois, we are Fighting Illini, my Fighting Illini. Unfortunately, they're dealing with some injuries, suspensions, and still crawling out of the cellar of college football. So they're definitely in a rebuilding, complete overhaul of the program phase. Yeah. They've got a couple quarterbacks banged up who may or may not play. Some guys, one of their best receiving threats. Dudek tore his ACL, or maybe again. Not. No, he didn't tear his ACL, but he got injured, but hurt his knee, out for the year. Neutral site game, but it's not like Illinois fans are going to be getting too rowdy. It's not going to be intimidating.
Right.
Chicago, but South Florida murdered them last year. I took Illinois plus 20 or whatever it was, just not a good play at all. So that was bad.
You can hear the pain in your voice.
I had him in it. I took an alternate spread. I was just like, come on, get it. Don't even tease it. I took him in an alternate. And so I got burned on the Bulls last year. And that was when they had what's-his-face, really mobile quarterback. What was his?
Quentin Flowers.
Quentin Flowers, yeah. Him and Valdez Scantling, who's now on the Packers.
Yeah.
Nice game. But before we move into any more NFL stuff, I gave my CrossNet teaser.
Mm-hmm.
The most degenerate game that one could ever gamble on. Lawrence, Kansas this week.
Yes. Yes. The Jayhawks are favored for the first time since, I think they said 2016 against Central Michigan, and for the first time against a Power 5 team since 2008.
My God, did they still have the Lard coach?
Charlie Weiss?
No. The other one.
Oh God, I can't. I know who you're talking about, but
he took him to Orange Bowl.
Yeah, they were good in the mid 2000s. People forget for a year or two.
Oh my God, Mark Mangino, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mangino.
Kansas's favorite for seemingly the first time ever. 2.5. Yeah. Over Rutger, whose starting quarterback might be out. He got hurt against Ohio State. He's a true freshman anyway, so I don't think it's going to make.
What the over-under is on this game if you don't already know?
I don't know it. I'm going to guess 44.
43.5, Brian.
Wow. Look at this guy. Brian Bookmaker.
That was really fucking – No hesitation, just 44. Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much, man.
I'm trying to look up the Fornelli tweet that has the info on this Kansas game.
It opened at 46.5, and it's now moved down to 43.5.
Because everyone knows both teams suck. Okay, so Kansas is favored 2.5 points against Rutgers. It's the first time it's been favored against an FBS opponent since 3-point favorites against Central Michigan in 2017. It's only the 7th time the Jayhawks have been favored against an FBS team since 2010, and first time since 2009 against a Power 5 team.
That's futility right there.
It is. Shout out Tom Fornelli, but he loves picking on Kansas. That is a tough game. I know my co-host B Fox is on Kansas -2.5 in that game. I just can't pick it. If I'm leaning one way, I'm leaning Kansas -2.5.
Wow. Whoever loses just goes, I can't believe we lost to other teams.
Yeah. This is a loser leaves town kind of game. Like, fold the program after that.
Battle of the Bads.
It is.
Yeah, Rutgers quarterback injury. Kansas riding the momentum after a big home win as home dogs against Central Michigan.
Yes.
Fucking, you can't. You know what? Kansas is going to win and Rutgers is going to cover. There's my pick. 1-point game.
Wow.
14-13 Jayhawks.
A missed extra point wins the game.
Yep.
That would be
or
something.
Safety.
That would also be something.
That would be very Kansas Rutgersian.
Yes.
Shift over the NFL. I mean, obviously, it's just so far it's been pretty college football centric these past few weeks, but we're getting into the NFL.
Yep.
We had week 1. I really didn't think it was just from a fan perspective. Even if you didn't have money on the games, I didn't think there were that many like games I was very excited about. Just wasn't like a very, it was great to have the NFL back, but it wasn't the best week of matchups we were going to get. I mean, as biased as we are, obviously we were excited about Bears Packers with the offseason the Bears had, and they had just gotten Khalil Mack within the last week and a half before that game. And
seeing what the Packers offseason had brought in, the revamp of the defense, really going heavy in the secondary.
Their 2 biggest free agent signings for each team, which were arguably Trey Burton and Jimmy Graham for each team.
Were silent.
Neither one did anything.
Yes. Good to see where the money went.
Yeah. So week 2, NFL. Like I already said, some teaser plays I have in mind. Roethlisberger's doing the walking boot thing, this time with the elbow, not practicing. Josh Dobbs of Rocky Top is running with the ones all week. But Ben's going to wake up Sunday morning and play.
He'll feel great.
The Chiefs looked really good.
They looked really good.
I almost said San Diego, but the LA Chargers.
RIP.
It still doesn't roll off the tongue.
No.
Neither does LA Rams, but at least the Rams they're making a name for themselves.
It's better than St. Louis.
Yeah, well, because the LA Rams used to be a thing.
Yeah.
But, man, so some sweetheart teasers. I mean, the Chiefs on the road at Pittsburgh plus 17.5 is something I like a lot. You get the Saints at home to plus 4. I think Carolina is dealing with quite a bit of injuries right now with Olsen and Curtis Samuel still can't play. And they're on the road at Atlanta. I mean, you could get Atlanta like plus 7.5 plus 7.5 at home against the injured Carolina. Some other games I really like. I would have put everything I owned on the Chargers if the Bills had gone Nathan Peterman again. But now that Josh Allen's there, it's made me pause. So I'm probably going to avoid it for now. Not that I'm really a Josh Allen believer, but
it's much different than starting Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, and what else do I like?
Human surrender.
The Packers-Vikings game is tough. Obviously, I hope my Packers can win, but I'm very concerned about Rodgers' mobility.
Yeah.
It's fucked up that the first game after he's injured, he has to go against one of the best front sevens and overall defenses in the entire – of course.
Yeah.
Opening up with the Bears and the Vikings. no chance to settle in 2 of the biggest games of the year right off the bat. And now we've got and him on one leg is still a top 5 quarterback in the league, but
easily.
But
as long as he has a pulse, the Packers have a chance to win the game. That all being said, though, when you're playing, it wears on you. You can't play these top defenses week after week and take these hits. And, Bakhtiari and Bulaga were absolutely outmanned last week. And
Bulaga, that was his first game back off an ACL, and he had to go against Khalil Mack, who was, I would argue, you could argue it both ways. Was he rusty or was he fresh as a daisy? Because he ate.
He looked like both in each half. Like he didn't play a consistent game, but the first half he was dominant. The second half he was rusty.
Yeah. Trying to think what other matchups there are this week.
I'll run through some of mine.
Oh my God, the Eagles.
Oh yes.
Get them +10 in a teaser on the road at Tampa. Fuck the Buccaneers for cucking me out all of my teasers.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to come back down to earth this week. Second lock of the week is 1 pick 6 this week. Eagles defense is going to ball out this week. The Eagles are not going to get beat over the top 7 times like the fucking Saints did.
Correct.
And Deshaun Jackson, I believe, might not even play.
He's questionable right now.
Yeah.
He's in concussion protocol.
From what I've heard, not that I'm plugged in.
Ear to the ground or whatever.
From what I know so far, I don't think it's trending in a positive direction for his status this week.
Right.
So, they still have got Evans and stuff, and Cameron Brate, whatever. But I really. They also have another receiver who tears it up and who's only played a few games, but really good. I don't know if it's Godwin or something.
Oh yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. Cannot think of his first name, but yeah, they actually have weapons. It's just that Jameis Winston hasn't been able to utilize them at all.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should
take a Harvard man.
Maybe he should drive himself to practice instead of getting in an Uber and he'd be playing this week. So,
jeez. I'm doing something that I don't think anyone has ever done in the history of football. I am betting on both the Giants and the Jets.
Whoa.
Yeah. Giants +3 at Dallas. Dallas looked terrible last week.
Oh, yeah. Tease the Giants. Dude, I'm going to make so much money this week.
There it is. Eli stinks. He's like one of the worst ball control quarterbacks since Brett Favre touched the field. And Brett Favre, it's the same thing, though. That they're both going to be 2 of the greats, but they just had such an issue with turnovers.
Oh, wait. You just reminded me of something.
Yes.
By calling Eli one of the greats, please share our interaction at the Chicago bars from this past weekend.
Oh, God. Shout out to this guy. I hope he's listening somewhere. It
started because I was hitting on his sister.
Yeah, he claimed that Eli Manning is the greatest quarterback of all time.
It was the wildest take.
And then his sister said that Tom Brady wasn't attractive. And that was about all we could handle. We had to get the hell out of there. But holy shit. Yeah. I think Eli is going to realize now that all he has to do is get it to Odell and get it to Saquon Barkley and give them a little space and let them go to work. I think the Giants defense is actually pretty good. And the Cowboys just Zeke got completely bottled up last week against a decent at best Panthers defense. And they Dak is not, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe it's losing Jason Witten, but he just does not look like he did.
Oh man, he
burst
on the scene. Now he looks so pedestrian. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't really have. I'll just flat out say it. They don't have a good wide receiver.
They don't.
They don't have any receivers. Who would you call their number one? Is it Allen Hurns?
Maybe. Maybe. I can't pick one. They're a team of slot receivers. They don't have a number one go up and get a guy, which is what Dez would have been if they kept him.
Yeah, but Dez also was really slowing down. There's a reason he's not signed yet. He drops the ball a ton.
Yeah.
You just can't. Yeah, so and then the Jets are, what's their spread?
They're -3 at Miami. Hate picking road favorites, but Miami, I don't believe in Tannehill. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't believe he's back yet from that injury. The run game is The defense isn't very good, and I think the Jets have one of the better defenses in the NFL. I'm not buying into the hype of Sam Darnold because I don't believe in the Lions defense at all, but he's confident at this point. He just torched an NFL defense. He's going to have another good game. Might not be enough to be, a blowout win like that, but I think he's going to be very good.
Darren Lee was fucking unreal in that.
Their defense, crazy.
Yeah, they've got a good D line. With
even the secondary, Jamal Adams had a hell of a game too.
Jamal Adams, yeah. So the Jets. I mean, the Jets are. You don't want to overreact, but that first game reminded me of the Rex Ryan Sanchez title game.
Yeah, Bart Scott defense.
Yeah, no, it was literally like a flashback. I don't think they're going to be able to put up similar stuff over the course of a 16-game season.
Right.
But that was like one of those games where it's like you have this question mark at quarterback, but your defense is so good. Kind of like the 06 Bears where your quarterback thinks and your defense literally just wills you. But yeah, Darnold, I mean, he had the pick six right away.
Mm-hmm. Great way to start the career and then settle in.
And Jets fans are like, oh my God, we're so cursed. And then
Here we go again.
Then they win by 31, and now they're going to the Super Bowl. So never any around with them. And return of the week, Fireman Ed was back.
Yeah, that was huge. I think that's the reason you win the game.
Fireman Ed's at the game, hammer Jets.
Yes. I've got two games that you said, one game that you and I are polar opposites on, and then one game you said you'd stay away from. But before that, Detroit, San Francisco, both defenses did not look very good. Both offenses have the ability to go off for points, so I'm taking the over 48 in that one. I think it's going to be a shootout. L.A., the Chargers, not the Rams. Taking the Chargers -7 at Buffalo.
I think it's 7.5 now.
I got it at 7. That's all I know. If it's 7.5, buy the hook. It's all right. Throw a little extra on it, but buy the hook. I think Phillip Rivers is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think the Chargers defense is going to settle in after a bad week last week, and Buffalo's defense was terrible. Not to mention that Josh Allen's biggest problem coming out of college was passing accuracy, and he threw for like 44% accuracy. I think this is going to get magnified in more attempts. He threw it maybe 16 times last week. He'll probably throw it closer to 30 this week and maybe complete 12 to 15 of those. So I like the Chargers just because I think they're going to have extra offensive possessions. And then Carolina, I love +5.5 at Atlanta. I think Cam Newton is very much back. Last week was him settling in. This week he's ready to go off. If they can get Christian McCaffrey the ball more in space and get Funchess involved in the offense early, that defense is ready to buckle down. They slowed down Dak and Zeke, and I think they can handle a highly, highly overrated Matt Ryan.
Oh, my goodness. I don't want to say anything inappropriate about Steve Sarkisian's health, but I don't know what he's thinking when they get in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Take Julio Jones off the field. That's what he's thinking.
And the same thing with Kyle Shanahan. The 49ers they have been futile all preseason and against Minnesota in the red zone. And their offensive line's a little banged up. So that game's really interesting from an over-under perspective because I could definitely see the potential for a shootout.
But it could very well be just missed opportunities in the red zone. I could just see
San Francisco kicking like 5 field goals.
Yeah.
They stall in the red zone all the time. Atlanta, you bet the spread as it was, but I think if you get Atlanta to cover a touchdown at home my thing with Carolina is I think they're a good team, but their injuries concern me. Greg Olsen's always going to be the safety net, for Cam. That's who he's going to go to when the pocket collapses and,
right.
when you need a big third down or something. He's never really had a receiver he's had a good relationship with.
Kelvin Benjamin, but then they got rid of him and they got in that spat.
Oh, that was funny. That was really funny.
Kelvin Benjamin is now like eating himself out of the league. He's huge.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So you said the Niners, and I don't know where I'm going with this. But.
Niners, Lions, Chargers -7 against Buffalo, Jets -3 at Miami, Carolina +5 at Atlanta.
What's Monday night?
Monday night is, I know, thank God, because we haven't had this enough, but I know Sunday night is Giants Cowboys. Thank God. Those teams don't play enough. Oh, Bears Seahawks. I don't know how I didn't know that.
How did we not fucking go into this?
Yeah, Bears are 3-point favorites. I would love to stay away from this one. That's why I didn't mention it. I don't know. I think the offense is going to get better. It can only get better because it just didn't look very good last week. I think the defense is going to continue to improve with more reps and better conditioning. That being said, my biggest problem with the defense, besides the secondary being absolutely horrendous, is the use Vic Fangio had for Leonard Floyd. He had him spying Rodgers instead of rushing the passer, and I think he's more athletic with better length, as they would say, not length, than Roquan Smith. And when Roquan was in, they had him rushing the passer, which is fine, but he's got better lateral speed, sideline to sideline. Let him spy Rodgers and let Floyd go loose on the other side of Khalil Mack. I think that's the better move.
Now with this fucking knee, but
right. But I mean, Russell Wilson is also a mobile quarterback that can extend plays. So I think this is a good test for this defense. They needed another game like this to see where they are and what they need to do better. Secondary just has to improve. There's nothing about everyone in the secondary played a poor game. Adrian Amos was not good in coverage. Eddie Jackson had a terrible game. Amukamara was just disgustingly bad. Kyle Fuller
took his lunch money. It was ridiculous.
Kyle Fuller was torched all night. This is what they're paying for. Nothing. There was no production on the back end.
No, I don't know if he was really torched because his hands were a little slippery at the end there.
That's true. He dropping that interception is astounding. I think I heard this spin zone is that it was such a catchable ball that he couldn't catch it. And I agree with that fact because it was right in his chest.
He was overcome with the disbelief that Rodgers had thrown a ball in his lap like that.
Yeah, he was like, this can't be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I would lean Bears -3, not confidently. I think they win, and that's kind of weird to say. I don't like betting a -3, but thinking they win. I just don't know.
Games though.
It's such a tough one.
This is gonna be 18-16 or something because it's just the Seahawks are involved.
Mm-hmm. Pete Carroll's gonna fucking go for 2 right away. He'll score early and then make it 8-7.
All right, here's a good one, a good joke for everybody at home. It's time to invest in the Seahawks because they just picked up Michael Kendricks.
Yes, I saw that. What a move, knowing that he's not going to be arraigned until January. Yeah, he's not going to court until January, and he's facing 30 months in prison. But he'll play up until January, so
he's going to get a plea deal.
I would assume so because he's an NFL player, but you never know. Phil Mickelson got a slap on the wrist when he did it, but I think it was for significantly less money. But still, it's one of those things that how seriously are the feds going to take it? And then how much can the NFL step in and be like, oh no, this is one of our guys. Don't fuck around with him or whatever.
Yeah. But this game is interesting. Of course, I want the Bears to lose as a Green Bay guy. Give me that division separation.
Yeah. I mean, you guys win against Minnesota, though. You've got pretty good separation already.
Yes. We'll see about that one. I know bad things always happen.
Long season.
The Vikings have always had bad things happen to them. You're playing against a backup quarterback in the NFC Championship game with a chance to host the Super Bowl in your own stadium. What could go wrong?
A missed tackle on the easiest play ever.
Yeah, you get that, and you're like, oh, that just set it up for the biggest heartbreak ever. Oh,
yeah.
But I also had New Orleans live money line in that game. That was a heartbreaker.
That's tough.
Yeah, I took them when they were down 17-0. So that was rough. At least plus 17.5 did cover, though. But I could have made a lot more money on that game. But anyway, Seattle lost at Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Denver is very good at all.
Neither do I. That's the only thing that's giving me slight bit of confidence.
You know what's wild? You want to talk about a nice teaser play, and this could come back and bite me in the ass. Denver is a 6-point home favorite to the Raiders this week.
Wow. I don't think the Raiders are very good. I think Denver's defense is good.
Raiders plus 19?
Okay, I think that plays.
Yeah. But focus, Nick. Seahawks, Bears. Yeah, This one's really tough. I think Vegas is right on the money with this one with -3. I think the Bears have a better defense, which is crazy to say, but the Seahawks defense is a shell of itself.
It is.
Earl Thomas actually playing when no one thought he was actually going to show up is kind of a big deal for Seattle, but they've pretty much lost all their valuable corners. They still have Bobby Wagner.
Doug Baldwin's out for the offense, too.
Baldwin's out. I mean, this has got Bears written all over it. Home game, Monday Night Football.
Chance for Nagy to get a little redemption after his last 2 games. These are his last 2 games. Blown fourth quarter lead, 27
Titans
against the Bills. Blown lead at Green Bay, 20-0.
Yeah,
for loss. Like he's lost by 1 point in 2 games with 20-point leads.
Well, I thought what you were referring to was when the Chiefs blew the lead against.
And I forgot about the Chiefs too. Yeah,
the Titans.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Damn Titans.
So yeah, that's everything. I don't know what else we have to cover, but that's all I have.
What we have to cover is all the spreads we bet, Brian. That's what we need to cover.
That's all we need to cover. So we will be back next week with plenty more, and I think we might have our first guest next week. So stay tuned.
Really?
Yes, and pray for winners. Good luck, everyone out there, and we will see you next week.
See y'all.